March 16, 1962, a U.S. military transport plane, Flight 739, takes off from Guam headed for the Philippines. On board are 93 American soldiers, secretive cargo, and a crew trained for high-level missions. It was supposed to be a routine flight. But just hours into the journey, the aircraft disappears without a trace. No wreckage, no distress signal, no bodies, just silence. And for over 60 years, the U.S. government has never given a clear explanation. This is the story of one of the most chilling military vanishings in history, and why some believe this wasn't just an accident, but a cover-up. Part 1. The Flight. The Lockheed Super Constellation that carried Flight 739 wasn't your average civilian aircraft. It was a military-chartered plane operated by the Flying Tiger Line and paid for by the U.S. Army. Its mission? Transport soldiers and possibly classified cargo across Southeast Asia, all at the height of Cold War tension. The aircraft's journey involved 4 refueling stops: California, Hawaii, Wake Island, Guam, and finally the Philippines. Everything went smoothly until it departed from Guam. Then, radio silence. There was no distress call, no radar ping, not a single shred of communication. The military immediately launched a massive search and rescue operation. It involved 1,300 personnel, 48 aircraft, and 8 ships, scanning over 200,000 square miles of the Pacific Ocean. It was one of the largest air-sea searches in U.S. history. They found nothing. Part 2. The Sighting. On the very same day Flight 739 vanished, a Liberian oil tanker in the area reported a strange sight. Crew members witnessed a brilliant flash of light in the sky, followed by 2 massive fireballs descending into the ocean. They radioed in, believing they'd witnessed a mid-air explosion. But that report was buried. No official acknowledgement was ever made. No confirmation, just silence. And then, just days later, the Army quietly declared all 107 people on board were lost at sea. No wreckage, no black box, no human remains. To many, that didn't add up. Part 3. Theories. So what really happened? Theory 1. Mechanical failure. But if that were the case, why no distress call? Why no debris? Theory 2. Sabotage. Could someone on board have detonated something intentionally? Theory 3. A military accident. Perhaps the plane strayed into a weapons testing zone and was accidentally shot down. If so, a cover-up would have been inevitable. Theory 4. Hostile fire. The Cold War was heating up, and the region was tense. Could a foreign entity have taken the plane down? And then there's Theory 5. It never went down by accident. That perhaps Flight 739's true mission was so sensitive that its disappearance had to be erased from the record. The U.S. Army never clarified what kind of cargo was on board, and while they denied the presence of classified material, the presence of Special Forces soldiers and covert personnel suggests otherwise. Part 4. The Cover-Up. Over the decades, families begged for answers. They submitted Freedom of Information Act requests. They contacted senators. They asked for recognition. Each time the door was shut, reports were redacted, files classified. They were told there was nothing new to disclose. Appalled. Even more disturbing, the victims of Flight 739 are not listed on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Why? Because according to official records, they weren't technically killed in combat. But make no mistake, these men were deployed for Cold War operations. The Philippines was a staging ground for U.S. action in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. These were not ordinary soldiers. Some were Green Berets. Others had top security clearance. Their mission mattered, and so did their disappearance. Part 5. The Legacy. In 2021, nearly 60 years later, a memorial was finally built in Maine to honor those lost aboard Flight 739. It wasn't funded by the government. It wasn't built by the military. It was paid for by a private telecommunications company, one whose founder had a personal connection to one of the lost soldiers. The US government still hasn't officially recognized the men as casualties of war. But the families never stopped fighting. For them, the pain never faded, and the mystery never dulled. Part 6. The questions that remain. Why was there no wreckage? Why was the tanker's eyewitness account ignored? Why were the families given so little information for so long? And perhaps most chilling of all, what was on that plane that the world wasn't supposed to know about? Flight 739 didn't just vanish, it was erased. No headlines, no closure, just a legacy of unanswered questions. We may never know the full truth, but one thing is clear: this was not just a disappearance. It was a disappearance designed to be forgotten. And now, we remember.